The following is a presentation of the Sports Stove Media in partnership with Belly Up Sports. Here's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Local Hour. It's playoff time. We're talking EKU football, and we've got two great guests. Maddox Marcellus rejoins the show, and Brayden Latham makes an appearance as well. That's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Local Hour.
McKinney looks, steps into pocket, throws, open receiver, touchdown! Colonels, we're not done yet!
Our identity is we're going to press for 40 minutes, we're going to play up-tempo, we're going to play with unbelievable passion, and then our brand is the most exciting 40 minutes in sports.
Welcome in to an all-new edition on a special night and special time of the Sports Stove Local Hour presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Join the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code STOVE15. You're actually going to get 20% off right now if you use that code on righteousfelon.com. You're going to love it. Make sure you try it out. Check it out, and that'll let them know that you heard about them here on the Sports Stove Local Hour, and we would greatly appreciate that, of course, as well. Well, it's Tuesday night. We haven't had a Tuesday night show in quite some time, but here we are, Thanksgiving week, and even more important, playoff football week for EKU football. I'm Vince Stover, joined as I am each week by the one and only Jonathan Duff. Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing awesome, for sure. Saturday, we had basketball games all day, and I happened to have a little bit of a break between games. I pulled the game up on my phone just in time to see about the last 4 minutes of the game, and so I got to see some really good stuff there in that last 4 minutes of the game as well. First of all, let's start with the emotion of senior night. You know, did it hit you? When did it hit you? What was that like going into this senior night?
Yeah, so obviously just with a lot to play for still, and just kind of the same mentality that we've kept as a team lately, that I really, going into the week, like it was just another week just trying to stay focused and everything like that. And then definitely, like, obviously warm-up's a little different, cut short a little bit, and then you got to do the senior deal, like that whole deal. And so as we're doing that and I go running down the hill, it hit me a little bit when I was very fortunate to have like 55 people there for me, family and friends. And so when I ran down the hill and heard all them and hugged Coach Wells, it hit for a second, but just kind of right back to game mode, obviously, because I'm playing. Obviously, all of us seniors were playing to make sure that wasn't our last game. And so, but yeah, it was a really cool ordeal. Definitely did a little 360 at Roy Kidd Stadium after the game, just knowing that be the last time that I walk off that field after a game. So definitely a lot of emotion there, but really glad to just be able to experience that and then be able to get back into the playoffs again.
Definitely. I mean, that's exciting. Your mom posted a cool picture of everybody that was there with you as well, and lots of family. I know you said a lot of friends in town as well to catch the game. And what a way to go out. I mean, again, thankfully the season's not done, and to be able to go out on a win as your last undefeated at home. By the way, I'm trying to think, and I should know this, and I should have looked at it before. Do you know when the last time was you guys were undefeated at home?
I believe they said 2010.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. So it's been a long time. And you know, this year again, okay, Mississippi State, whatever, Western Kentucky, you hate to lose it, but you know, is what it is. Then losing the two conference games puts you guys in a tough spot, but you guys never wavered at home, and ultimately that's what's going to get you to the playoffs is winning those home games for sure. And you know, this North Alabama team, again, they came in on a losing streak. They really were a talented team, and we saw the defense do what the defense has done all year long again this year against this North Alabama offense, throwing 2 interceptions. He got sacked twice as well. You know what? I mean, what can you say about just the way the defense has really just performed all season long?
The defense has been incredible, and they really embody like the culture and character of this team. You know, they're hard nosed and they go out there and they play with a chip on their shoulder and they play right at that edge. You know, you never want to go over that edge, but you want to have an edge to your defense. And they do a pretty good job for the most part of keeping their composure and playing with that edge. And I mean, they've been incredible this season. They get a lot of the credit for this 5-game stretch that we've had ever since we went down to that 3-4 record and with our backs against the wall. And there's just a lot of great leadership on that defense. And, you know, they pitched a shutout in the first half, I believe, of this past game. And so that was huge in us getting that lead and then maintaining that lead through some chaos in the second half and a little bit of a lull. But yeah, the defense has been incredible this year. Definitely a huge reason for our success and looking for them to continue to play that way going into this week.
Yeah, I mean, so Rhino gets a sack this week. D-Bake and Gabe meet up at the quarterback as well, and so they get the split a sack this week. Mike gets another interception, and Maddox gets another interception as well. We'll talk to him in a bit. I mean, it's just incredible to watch the transformation from last year to this year for what this defense is doing. And I put out on Twitter this week what the roster could look like next week. And, you know, our next year, excuse me. And if everybody sticks, everybody stays, then, I mean, my goodness, I know we lose some D linemen, but you also have returning D linemen too. And I sat there and looked at both the offense and the defense. It's like, I mean, I know they're going to bring new guys in too, but my goodness, this is going to be a stacked team again next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of young talent on the team. And I think that was part of, you know, getting everyone to gel together and play together, and a lot of experience mixed with a lot of young guys who didn't have experience coming into the year. And I think that's why we really have hit our stride at the right time here. And so love those young guys. They're doing awesome. They're not playing like young guys. We're going to talk to two sophomores on this show that don't feel like they're sophomores at all with the impact that they're making and the maturity that they play with and attack every day with. So yeah, there's definitely a bright future in Richmond, but we still got more football left here this season. So
that's right.
Grateful for those guys.
Offensively, it was another one of those run-heavy games. So we've seen a couple of those this year. Matt threw 15 attempts, 9 of them completed. And of those 9 completions, 5 of them went to Marcus Calwise Jr., who gets another Freshman of the Week honor. And I put out on Twitter there, just go ahead and hand him the Freshman of the Year award because it's got to be him, right? Marcus Calwise Jr., and I know we've talked about this about Jeremiah. We've talked about this about a few of the guys on the team. But Marcus, I mean, for his age to be what he is right now, my goodness, the guy could leave here as the greatest of all time if he sticks in it here at EKU. And, man, I hope he does because the talent this kid is showing right now is incredible.
Oh, yeah, he's been awesome. He's a weapon for us. Like we say, for the fact of him being a freshman, he doesn't act like it and doesn't play like it, and his presence is known. And it's beyond just the passing game. I mean, when we're in the running game, he's bodying DBs and putting them on the ground, and sometimes it gets a little chippy there, and he does not back down from anybody. And so he's been a dominant presence for us, and really glad that we have him.
And then, you know, we've been talking about Joshua Carter all year running the football. He's had an incredible season. But he adds 55 yards through the air as well this week to have, you know, again, over 100 yards. I think it's 130 yards all purpose in this game. He did not find the end zone in this game. But Josh, and we're going to talk to Brayden Latham in a minute. We'll talk about his big game too. But Josh, I mean, just the steadiness of Joshua Carter this year has been so fun to watch. You know, we haven't really seen in the last several years a guy get the majority of the touches the way Josh has this year. And he's still split carries, but he's gotten a large majority of them this year. And what he's done with that to me has been, you know, we talk about the defense and how good they've been for you guys. Joshua Carter, I think, has been the consistency on offense. And that goes with the O-line, of course, as well. But that has really been so impactful for you guys winning games.
Yeah, that running back room is loaded, and the rock of our offense this season, like you said, the most consistent as a room as well. But Josh is just a really mature leader. He's played a lot of football. He does not shy away from the big moment as we've seen in the past. And so we love to feed number 8, and he does what he does with that. I think I wrote it down. He's averaging 4.9 a carry on the season, which is pretty incredible. So yeah, his he just wills his way to extra yards and wills his way to help leading us to victory.
For sure. And he is sitting at 1,156 yards rushing this season. Yeah, you said it, 4.9 average. Which you look at the running back room, Brayden's averaging 4.8 a carry, Jalen's 4.4 a carry, Telly's 8.4. He hasn't had a lot of opportunity, but when he has, he's broken off some big runs as well. So that's incredible to see what they're doing and the success that they're having for sure. When you guys, the video's out there, if you guys hearing your name called for the playoffs and you get the matchup with Villanova, I'm assuming the matchup wasn't as big of a deal as just knowing for sure it's done with, you guys are in. But this isn't the first time you've experienced this. So what's the emotion and feeling like knowing, that you guys are into the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely. Was really confident going into last week and wasn't thinking about it too much, but was really confident just win and we take care of our fate. However, it's a little different than the first time I went through it. The first time we were an automatic bid. We knew we were in. We're just waiting to see who we played. This one, you don't know. I mean, we aren't the committee, so we can't predict what they're going to do. And so definitely just the fact that it's my last year too. I got built up some nerves there during the selection show and seeing certain things unfold. I didn't really know how they'd unfold, but I'm not the guru. I don't, I just pay attention to our conference and who we got to play that week. But no, just hearing the name called is just such a relief. You got more football, more life, and I just couldn't imagine ending the season already. And so just it's a relief. And then you go at this, a lot of us have played on that 2022 team that won conference and, got upset at home in the playoffs. And so just bad taste in my mouth and all of our mouths about that. And just, you go in with a chip on your shoulder, ready to play more football and continue what we've been able to do the past 5 weeks.
Yeah, and now you guys are going to Philadelphia to play Villanova. Villanova's 9-3 on the year, and undefeated at home as well. So how much? I mean, I can't say I know a whole lot about Villanova football. So when you look at this opponent, first time you guys have ever played them, is there anything that you guys were able to quickly pull into? Hey, here's some similarities to somebody. What do you know about this Villanova team?
We know they're an effective running game, but we also just know they're a sound football team. You get to this point and every team is good. So you can throw any, you don't even got to worry about records, this, that, the other. You just know they're a good football team. And they're a very tough, disciplined, old team. So they got a lot of seniors, a lot of grad students, not a lot of young guys playing for them. And they you can tell through the film they pride themselves on not making mistakes, playing sound, disciplined football. And so we know that going into this week, and it should be a great matchup, great challenge for us. And so, just looking forward to getting to play a playoff football game and keep trying to extend this streak that we have going.
For sure. And I know, Ron is working on getting a bus. He's got a sponsorship help cut some costs for some of the students if they want to jump on. And I know there's fans, planning on making the trip. I'm not going to be able to make it to Philadelphia, but I will definitely be watching. I'm excited about this one, and I'm excited for round 2. I said on Twitter as well, I've always wanted to go to San Antonio, and round 2 is in San Antonio. So we'll have to see how all that shakes down. But nonetheless, I'm excited for you guys, as of course, for the success that you guys have had in your career, but also this season, to see it all come together the way that it has is pretty awesome as well. Well, let's get to some guests, Duff. I mean, my goodness, we got some guys to talk to. Before we do that, remind everybody, Righteous Felon Jerky sponsors the program. RighteousFelon.com. Use the promo code STOVE15. Perfect time to get your stocking stuffers ordered and try the bootleg and barbecue, my favorite flavor that they have. I like all their flavors except for one. Not a fan of the Truffalo Bill, but outside of that one, I love all of them. They got some spicy ones. They got some sweet ones as well. There's one called the Bourbon Franklin. It's a sweet vanilla bourbon flavor, and super tasty. And even the turkey one they have is phenomenal too. It's called the Foul Capone. They got great marketers there.
Creative.
But yeah, so check that out for sure. All right, let's bring on our first guest of the day. He is a sophomore running back out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and he had himself a ball game this week. So we're going to bring on running back Brayden Latham onto the show now. Hey, Brayden, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Doing awesome. So let's just jump right into this past week where you just, take off, right? You're having yourself a game and 104 yards and the touchdown to go with it this week. What were you feeling, seeing this week? You've had several good games, very good games, and several breakaway runs and things like that throughout the season. But what'd you see this week?
Honestly, we was just my own line. You gotta give credit to them, honestly, because they're the ones banging their heads every play and putting their hand in the dirt. So without them, I'm not getting no yards. I can't dodge 11 kids and take it to the crib. So not for them. I'm not doing nothing. But honestly, defensively wise, it was just they were a good team, but it was just who wanted it more, honestly, and all I had to do was run hard and get out of a couple tackles and just do your thing.
Talk about your season as a whole, because now you step in once B. Sloan transfers out. Your name's called. You're next up on the step up list, and so your load's going to be bigger this year. Josh, what he has and what he can do, of course, as well. What was your mindset this summer, especially after B. Sloan transferred? What was your mindset now, knowing that your opportunity was right there for the grabbing?
My mindset was kind of the same coming in, or at the end of the season. I was just man, I want to play next year. And once that spot had opened up, I was here it is. Let's lock in, let's focus, let's get the work. And coming in with Maddox and stuff like that, we were always man, we want to play. Man, let's make something shake. Let's get our names out there and stuff like that. And when he had transferred, I was here it goes. It's about that time. So,
last year you did play. You played in 10 games. You only got to touch the ball, I think, 7 times, at least rushing, and 1 reception as well against North Alabama back then. But what kind of growth have you had over from last year to this year? Now that you have more opportunity too, but I'm sure there's a growth process just naturally from freshman to sophomore year.
Honestly, the difference, game knowledge, FBI, is just insane. How much you can learn in a year, and being under Josh and B. Sloan. And honestly, it was a little weird not redshirting my freshman year, but honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't now, because it really prepared me for this next year, my sophomore year. I just got to learn more. I was taking multiple reps in practice. I was on the ones field and I was just doing what I needed to do. And it was just a great decision, in general. And being under Josh and B. Sloan and just learning from them and watching them practice and play every day and taking notes, it was just a big help.
Yeah, and then this year you add, Jalen to the room. He comes in, he's got experience too, and his athleticism is insane. What he's done in the return game has been phenomenal. You've got some returns this year too. But what Mont's been doing there, your guys' room, is it as fun as it looks? It looks like you guys get along pretty awesome.
Man, those guys are a second family to me. Every day there's some jokes going around. There's some Jones and stuff like that. We're always laughing. We even get Coach Richmond. He may not seem, practice, Coach Richmond may not seem like he's laughing, but I'm telling you, 15 minutes ago, that boy was laughing his butt off in his room, right before film, going over pictures and stuff like that. So they're all a great family, and we learn a lot about each other and stuff.
And I think what I've noticed, at least what I perceive, is the maturity of your guys' room. Obviously Josh, to me, Josh is the most professional guy that I've met. Now, Matt Morrissey's this way too, of course. A lot of guys are. But Josh, talking to Josh, he just seems so professional. His mindset is there. Obviously, he's got family that has played, and that helps, of course, too. But so you have that maturity there with Josh, even Mont coming in. And then even as a young group, you guys, Duff and I have talked a lot about this year with a lot of different guys, just the maturity level. And I think that's what's made your team successful, is the maturity level of this team this year. You've got mature leaders, 21 seniors, guys that have been here for 5 years, stuff like that as well. Some of your transfer ins, Mike Smith from a few years back, Josh Carter, all those kinds of stuff. To me, you guys have fun, but I'm sure there's definitely we had Schlachter on last week. I'm sure there's some immature moments here and there in practice, but I'm impressed. I'm impressed by the maturity level of you guys as a team, as a whole. I mean, I don't know. Does that make sense?
It 100% makes sense. Josh and Mont, with their experience coming in, really helped me a lot because I was a freshman. I played, but I didn't play like have as much of a big of a role as I had now. And having them talk to me and just even when I make mistakes or stuff hey, lock in, the game isn't over, we still got to go, we still got to win and stuff like that. So them just being there with me and stuff like that is just amazing. And the impact it has on the team also is just they're not just talking to me, they're talking to a bunch of the guys. When we have team meetings and stuff, they're stepping up and talking and be hey, let's do this, we can make a run. And we're in the playoffs now, but we can make a run. They're just amazing, honestly. So
yeah. And I want to just quick say I loved Schlachter coming on the show last week. I'm not calling him immature. I'm just saying I can see there is some moments, I'm sure, of college kids being college kids. That's all I'm saying by that, just to make sure Schlack Attack doesn't get mad at me for that one. All right, Duff, what do you got for Brayden?
Yeah, obviously, when you win a lot, people always talk about the culture, and that's across sports beyond just football. But everyone wants to know about the culture and stuff. And obviously being a part of the team, I know you have this infectious personality, this joy about you, this infectious smile all the time. I want to know, can you talk on where that comes from and how that plays into our culture on our team?
Honestly, so growing up, I didn't have the best childhood and stuff like that. And there were some sad moments and stuff like that. But there was this moment in my life where I sat down and talked to myself. I was like, man, at the end of the day, the day's gonna end, and what happened yesterday is just not gonna it's over, and the next day comes. So why not just keep on smiling, make people laugh, talk to people. I love talking to people and just getting to know more stuff about them and stuff like that, and how that correlates with the team. That just builds a bond and stuff like that. So everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to be their own person and stuff like that. But reaching out, knowing people personally, and it just builds a better bond. And it just helps with the team morale and stuff like that, and the chemistry. And it's just all amazing everywhere.
No doubt. That's awesome.
Tell me a little bit about your family. I know you got two brothers. Both of them play football also, or played football also. You got a twin.
Yes, sir. I do.
Yeah. So what's I always wanted a twin. So quick story. I know the show's not about me, but I grew up at a church camp. My dad worked at a church camp, helped run a church camp, and so we would have kids come in, and you would, as a teenage boy, I would talk to teenage girls and all this kind of stuff. And then they'd come back the next year and be like, hey, why didn't, back then it was write letters. We didn't have email and stuff back then. So, why didn't you write me? And he's like, oh, you must be talking about my twin brother. He's working out the other camp this year. That's probably who you talked to last year, So I always thought, man, if I had a twin brother, I would make the most of that. For sure. But your brother's, is he still at UVA, Virginia Wise?
No, he is not. He took a year off right now. He's back at home working with my mom. So they're out there chilling and doing their own thing.
Yeah. So what's it like to be a twin? How did you have fun with that, or what's it like?
Absolutely. Honestly, I don't know how it is living without a twin. I don't know what that would be like. It's just another you there, same, almost the same personality, you like the same things, and plus, since we're boys, we were roughhousing, playing football, playing one-on-ones, all day, every day. You just had that built-in best pal, 24/7, watching the same shows, watching movies, going out together. It was just the best thing, and it still is the best thing. That's dog for life, for sure.
That's cool. Duff, what else you got for Brayden?
Yeah, obviously, we have a dynamic running back room, and we've talked about that. And I know last game, I'm looking at it right here, we averaged 5.9 yards a carry. how does that work? When you and Josh split reps and complement each other, are you guys looking to do things differently to catch the defense off guard, or is Josh or yourself going to the sideline and saying, "Hey, this is working, so do this," or how do you guys complement each other?
Honestly, it's just exactly how you just said it. So, like, how me and Josh like split reps and stuff like that. Josh will go in for like a series and stuff, and be like, hey, like this worked, like switch over to the other side, or like, hey, this backer is doing this, so maybe you want to try this and stuff like that. Or be like, or I'll go in for a series like, hey, Josh, I'm like wide open on the flat, so maybe like get your head around quicker and stuff like that. Or we'll let Matt know personally. So we're always just like feeding off of each other and stuff like that. And like right before the series, we always go to each other and like, hey, 8, I need you. Hey, 14, I need you and stuff like that. So it's just good complimentary football. And like I don't like Josh he's just my bro. So like honestly, I don't know who else is taking that. So
Oh yeah.
It's a good question, Duff. What tell me a little bit about growing up in Knoxville. I don't know how long, if you grew up your whole life in Knoxville or not. So I grew up in Murfreesboro in Middle Tennessee.
hey.
And obviously Knoxville's the home of UT, and I was a big Tennessee fan growing up and stuff like that. What was your football influence, I guess, growing up in Knoxville?
My football influence, you mean like personal wise or like team wise?
Like, was there players that you looked up to from Tennessee, or were you not a Tennessee fan? Like, what was that like?
I in fact was not a Tennessee fan.
Okay.
I could not be a Vol fan. So I was actually born in Alabama. So
Okay.
I'm a Roll Tide, go Elephants, just
Okay. Yeah. It's funny. Parker from similar area. He was a Florida fan. Of course, he was more of a Tebow guy, those kinds of things. Then I was like, man, you grew up, when Peyton Manning was well, I guess he was maybe too young for that. I don't know. Parker's old, so maybe not. But either way, and that's funny though. The two guys I've talked to from East Tennessee are not Tennessee fans. It's kind of sad, honestly, but that's okay. That's okay. Everyone's allowed to live their own life and do their own thing. So, do you mold your game after anybody? Is there someone you like to watch and kind of try to take from?
So I watched a lot of Saquon Barkley, like when he like got big and when he got into college. That's who I like to watch, and I still watch right now. So like that's who I try to mold my game after.
So are we going to see a backwards leapfrog over somebody in this playoff game?
I've been practicing, believe it or not. Like I've been like that spinner, that spin move into like the hurdle. So like, hey, like if it comes, it's come. It's gonna be natural.
I love it.
Either work out really good or it go really bad.
Yeah, right. No kidding. And you're going to be in Philadelphia, so maybe Saquon's around. Maybe he sneaks over and watches the game. Who knows? I don't know where the Eagles are this week, but nonetheless, yeah, that's hilarious though. When I saw that, I thought the same thing. If it doesn't go right, it goes really, really wrong.
Really bad. It go really bad.
Talk about getting into the end zone, and what it feels like at the college level compared to the high school level. Does it feel different at all at the college level versus the high school level?
I'd say absolutely. I'd say it's way harder. Well, of course, like college football is way harder than high school, but it's way harder getting in that end zone more than in college than high school. And like once you finally get there, it's just an amazing relief. And plus, like once you're in like critical situations for your team and stuff like that, it's like let's go, let's do it again and stuff like that. And I had a drive. I think we started at the 2-yard, like our 2-yard line, and we drove it like all the way down the field, and like scoring on a drive like that is just like it's like a big sigh of relief. And like holy crap, like our offense is great. Like let's do it again. Let's take it from the 1 this time. Let's see how far they back us up. Like, and that's like a good like punch in the chest. It's just like let's do it.
Yeah. Now I only bring this up to get your mindset on it. Okay. So I don't try to drudge up bad things. But there was a game earlier this year. You had a phenomenal drive. You get it all the way down inside the red zone, and then there's the fumble.
Yeah.
How do you feel in the moment? And then what do you have to do to recover from that moment?
Okay, so that was my like first fumble of like my collegiate career and stuff like that. And the way it happened was just like crazy. Like the dude came down, smack dab on the ball, boom, it comes loose. And in that critical that type of game right there, I'm like, gosh, like that's like that's a pit in the stomach right there. But Coach Wells, I remember Coach Wells coming to me. He was like, "Hey man, like we wouldn't put you out there if we didn't trust you and stuff like that." And like the game is still going. Like I'm pretty sure it was like it was the fourth quarter. I'm pretty sure like that. And it was the fourth quarter. The game's still going. We still got time left. We can still win this game. And we ended up winning it. And like after the game, he came up and hugged me. And he was like, "Man, like I love you. Let's work next week." And we just get past it, you know? So.
What does it feel to have that kind of support, especially from your head coach?
It feels amazing, honestly. Like I know he loves every single one of his like his own, and because we go out there and we put our hearts, we put our bodies on the line and stuff like that. So it just feels amazing to have like a guy like Coach Wells. So it's just perfect, you know.
Definitely. Duff, what else you got for Brayden?
I know we've talked about how college and high school are very different, but first, did you win a state championship in high school? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, we went undefeated in high school. I went all the way.
So obviously you got playoff experience. Obviously you weren't here in 22, but you have some playoff experience in your past, or championship experience. Talk about that mindset when you get in the playoffs and what that run to a championship, what you need for that run to a championship.
So it's really a mindset thing because everybody, like you were saying earlier, everybody's good. Like the record doesn't matter at that point. Like everybody's good, and it's a win or go home. So it's like it really comes down to like, do you want to play next week for real, and like do you want to go to like the next game and stuff like that. And I remember in high school, like we all sat down, we had this meeting, and we talked about like what happened in the season, what happened in like the preseason, and like how we're going to carry this into the playoffs, and like what we can work on and like what we can do better and stuff like that. And it was just amazing. And, you know, we ended up taking it all the way. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully taking it all the way again this year, only
Let's
for
do
EKU. What has there on your end, Brayden? What is senior day like, knowing that you're always playing for your teammates and you're always playing to win and all that kind of stuff? But what does it feel like for a sophomore on senior day, kind of thinking that, hey, this is the last time the guy next to me is running down this hill. This is the last home game he's going to play, you know, all that kind of stuff. Is there, how do you take that on your shoulders, I guess?
So me and Duff are really close. And I've been talking to Duff. I've been like, Duff, I don't think I'm ready for you to go. Like we sit real close in the meeting room and stuff. And like, Duff, I don't think I'm ready for you to leave, man. And
I'm not ready to go.
And it's just like playing for your brothers at the end of the day. Like me personally, I wanted to give Duff another game. Like let's give our guys another game. Let's go out the right way. And that's how I want to do it. And that's what we will do.
Yeah. Well, you know, when Duff's snapping for Green Bay next year,
hey,
we'll all be happy for him. You got to give me some tickets, Duff. I'm telling you.
Don't forget about us little people, Duff.
That's right. You can't forget about us. That's what I tell anytime I talk to Matthew Jackson. That's what I tell him. Hey, don't forget about me, brother. Like you got to remember me. That's awesome, man. Duff, anything else for Brayden?
I have no more questions, but I will say, and he's touched on, I mean, you can just tell by talking to him, but phenomenal player, but even better person. So we're lucky to have him. He's a big reason for our success on the field and the culture that we have off the field. So proud of this guy, excited to see how he continues to lead this football team.
Man, Brayden, congrats, man. I'm excited to see this growth that you've had in year 2. And that will continue to happen, of course, for you as well. And man, we're excited for big game this last regular season game as well. And have you been to Philadelphia before?
I have not. Believe it or not, before I came to EKU, I had only been to Florida and Alabama and Tennessee. So
okay.
I've been a lot of places now. So
yeah, so Utah. Now you get to go to Philadelphia. Next week you get to go to San Antonio. I mean, it's gonna be a good time, man.
Yeah,
good time for sure. Well, Brayden, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for spending some time with us. So we're going to go down the hall from you here and talk to Maddox in just a moment, but or next seat to you, whatever. But hey, man, I appreciate you coming on, though. I really do.
I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great night.
Thanks, you too, man. That's Brayden Latham, running back for EKU. He's had a great year this year, and huge game to round out the season, regular season at the very least. He's got 628 rushing yards this season, 3 touchdowns, and then 10 catches to go with it as well, plus some kick returns as well. So six returns, 91 yards for him this year on special teams as well. So excited for him. And again, when I looked at the future, what next year could look like, he's a big piece of that for sure. And excited to see what he's able to do moving forward here as a Colonel with EKU. So next up is a guy we had on a few weeks ago. And since we've had him on, he's just, it's been amazing what he's been able to do. A couple interceptions, some sacks, some big tackles, some big time stuff going on for this guy. And he's Brayden's a roommate as well. So now joining us on the show is EKU linebacker, the one and only Maddox Marcellus. Let's see if we can bring him up here. There he is. What's up, Maddox? Oh, there he is.
How are you doing?
Good to see you again, man. You doing all right?
Good to be back. Good to be back.
So when we had you on a couple weeks ago, you just kind of really started your rise. You'd been playing good football, but it seems like in the second half of the football season, what you've been able to do individually, as well as the defense as a whole, but individually, man, you have been just lighting it up. 2 interceptions. You've been all over the field. You're an established piece of this team, no doubt, by the end of this season. What has the growth been like for you from week 1 to now playoff week?
Man, I feel like it feels like week 1, it felt like last year. You know what I mean? It felt like I was still a freshman, just getting my feet wet, having a ton of reps helps, you know what I mean? It helps me get established to the game. And I just feel like I've grown so much from week 1, you know what I mean? Just going back and watching film from Mississippi State and West Georgia and stuff, I just see my, game changing mentally and physically,
One of the first plays that I was able to see this week was your interception. I turned the game on with about 4 minutes left in the game, and to see the interception, to see you take off running, man, I just immediately put a smile on my face, not because I'm an EKU fan, because I'm a Maddox Marcellus fan. And I was so happy for you to see you just the success that you've had. To me, it's incredible to watch it. And what does it feel in a game like this? When you win, you are 99% sure you're in the playoffs. To be able at a critical point in the game to get that turnover, what's it feeling like?
It's a crazy feeling, you know what I mean? Before, leading up towards the week, the guys are coming up to me talking about it's a big game, we need you. And, that type of pressure, I like that type of pressure, you know what I mean? Because it's I love, giving my all and putting on the, you know what I mean? Just giving it all for my guys, you know what I'm talking about? So in those situations, it was a crazy feeling just for the guys, to be honest, just getting the pick to kind of seal the game a little bit, but
yeah,
it was a great feeling,
Yeah, and it did. It felt like at the time that it sealed the game, and you guys still had to make another stand. But yeah, at that time, I thought, well, it's over. they did it, and that's awesome, man. You go through this season. We talked about it last time. There's injuries in the linebacker room. You got some guys down, some different things like that. You are already going to be playing again this summer. Coach Wells told me. I asked him specifically about 3 guys. And he said, well, don't forget about Maddox Marcellus. He's going to be big for us this year. And that was before some of the injuries. And so now you are leading the team in tackles. You've got 87. Braden Sullivan's right behind you at 84. You are one of the top. I think you're 3rd on the team in tackles for loss. You're 2nd on the team in interceptions, I believe, as well. So, not only are you playing well, but you're leading the team statistically in areas when you started this season. Is that the role you thought you were going to be playing?
To be honest, I don't really know what I was thinking before the season. Before the season, I was just like, I just want to play. You know what I mean? I just want to go out and show what I could do for myself and for everybody. You know what I mean? Just to show I could go out and do it. And I didn't know what was going to come with it. You know what I mean? I didn't have any specific like set goals. Like, oh, I want to do this. I want to lead this. You know what I mean? I just wanted to go out and play and show that I could do it.
And you're leading the team, by the way, in yards between your interceptions and your fumble recovery. You're killing it. 63 yards. Mike Smith has 25 yards, and Vito has 23 yards. DJ has 37 yards. So I mean, you've gone positive on yards as well, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, man. Duff, what do you got for Maddox?
Yeah, obviously we talk about the big pick, big time players make big time plays, big time games, But from a football perspective and like a breakdown perspective on the play, was there anything that you saw that put you in that perfect position where he threw that ball right to you?
Absolutely, because earlier in that game, I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it was I was guarding the running back, and then I came off of him, and the quarterback dumped it right over my head, and Coach Johnson ripped me one. You know what I mean? Yelled at me, but I kind of noticed on the interception that I ran up a little bit, and he was looking at me. So what I was gonna do, I just ran up, and then last second I saw the arm action, so I just backed up, and I just that was just a little adjustment there. Like that was going on in my head during the play, to be honest.
Yep. And what's it feel like to see that, to know that, hey, this is something that has been addressed and now here it is again. And then you do the right thing. Like, I can just imagine the joy of running to the sideline, knowing Coach Johnson's going to pat you on the back this time instead of yelling at you. Right.
That's exactly what I did. As soon as I went to the sideline, I was like, Coach Johnson, remember that play? He's like, yeah, I know. Good job not being dumb. And it was a great feeling that I got opportunity to clean up the mistake from before in a big way, and it was a great feeling.
This defense, we've talked about it all year because it's been good all year. But what you guys have been able to do with holding teams to no points for a whole half. You guys did it in the first half this week. You guys have done it in the second half a couple times. You're limiting their big plays even. Like there's just so much growth here as a whole. And we were talking about with Brayden, just the maturity level on this team. And when you look at it, we talked last time you were on the show about, having to kind of grow up fast as well and whatnot from there. But I got to imagine that getting to play with guys like Mike Smith and getting to play with that D line that's been around and veteran guys, and even the guys on the outside, that have been playing so good, Cam and Gabe and all those guys too. So, and then Brayden's right next to you, another young guy too. Yeah. I don't know. Are you able to in real time understand how cool it is to be on this team this year?
100%, 1,000,000%. As you know, the defense is older, like a lot of old guys. Mike Smith's last year, most of the D lines last year, D Bake and Ryan and everybody. It's a surreal feeling just being out there like with those guys, knowing how smart they are, knowing how great players they are. You know what I mean? It's just It's a huge blessing. It's amazing to play with them.
Now you look to next week. You get to go to Philly. Have you been to Philadelphia before?
I might have back in the day. I don't have the best memory, but not old enough for me to remember.
Okay. So you go to Philadelphia. There's a lot of history in Philadelphia. There's a lot of sports history in Philadelphia. Rocky, of course, all that good stuff too. There's supposed to be a lot of good food. I've never been to Philadelphia either. A lot of American history there as well, and all that kind of stuff. You guys are going for business though. So when you look to next week, like what's the first thing that you guys work on when you turn the page from the win on Saturday to preparing for what's ahead this coming Saturday?
Just approaching it like another week, you know what I mean? Not putting too much stress on it, just preparing how we would for any other game. So just getting in the film room, working what we've been taught in the film room and then putting it on practice and seeing how it looks and making adjustments here and there, just same as any other week, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, Thanksgiving is different because you're in the playoffs. So you don't make the playoffs, you get to go home for Thanksgiving. You do make the playoffs, you get to stay for Thanksgiving. Obviously,
Right.
you're okay with staying.
Yep.
But I mean, you go back 6 weeks ago, you could probably make plans for Thanksgiving with family and stuff like
Right.
that. So what has that been like, just kind of talking with family? And I know everybody's excited for you, but that you're not going to have the traditional Thanksgiving this year because you're going to be on campus and getting ready for a playoff football game.
Yeah, all my family they're in Florida right now. They're going to celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm going to be on a FaceTime call with them, be there in spirit. But they're all going to come to the game on Saturday. Not all of them, but my mom, my dad, my grandma, they're all coming to the game and going to come support. And, it's going to be my first time not being there for Thanksgiving. So that's going to be something. But, shoot, we're here in the playoffs. So I'm cool with that, and they're cool with it too.
If you got to miss Thanksgiving, this is the good reason for it.
This is a very good reason, extremely good reason.
Duff, what else you got for Maddox?
Yeah, last game was chippy off the rip, off the first kick. It was a chippy game, and there was a lot of jawing and stuff, and there was some circumstance and stuff like that. But I talked earlier about how our defense plays with an edge and how important it is to keep that edge, but then not cross the line. Can you kind of talk about maybe last game a little bit, and then also just that edge that you guys want to play on as a defense?
I mean, that's just the type of players we have, you know what I mean? Not in a bad way, but they just a lot of passionate players. Jaheim, Mike, Vito, they're gonna let you know how they feel. They wouldn't be being themselves if they weren't talking. You know what I mean? I love it. You know what I mean? It just shows you love the game, and it shows that you passionate about the team and passionate about winning. Like they don't like losing, and if they're beating you, and they're gonna let you know about it. You know what I mean? I love it. You know what I mean? That's just what we've been on all year. Like it's like if you're playing EKU defense, you're gonna hear it. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Good.
So you go into a tag team match. You got to pick a partner. I think Jeremiah makes sense. Mike, I think, makes sense. Jaheim seems like a beast, as well. Who's your tag team partner going into a tag team match?
On defense?
On defense. Yeah, on defense.
He's going to pick Latham.
Yeah, Latham's over there going,
oh my God.
Yeah.
If I would have to pick somebody, I'm going to go with Jeremiah Bailey. I'm glad he's on our team.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm behind him in the same color jersey. You know what I mean? I'm taking Jeremiah.
Yeah, I think I would too. For sure. Duff, you got something else for Maddox?
Well, I talked to Brayden a little bit about playoff experience in the past and just in high school, because obviously we haven't played it, or you haven't experienced it in college. Did you make the playoffs in the past in high school, and what's that mentality week to week? What was that like?
The last time I've played in a playoff game was Little League.
Oh, wow. Okay.
High school, my freshman year, I was on JV, and we made the playoffs and lost first round, so I didn't even play in it. Sophomore year, I actually didn't even play football. I tried to transfer into another school, and the whole COVID thing happened, so I was just stuck at a random public school. And then junior year, didn't make the playoffs. Senior year was a game short, so.
Dang. Does that speak to that the high school football in Florida?
Yes, absolutely. We had a decent record, but the districts we were in, it was crazy. You know what I mean? The teams we were losing to were getting in the quarterfinals, semifinals, one states. Like it's a crazy, it's a whole different ball game in Florida.
All down there.
Oh yeah.
Did Villanova ever call? Like, I'm curious. I didn't think to ask Brayden this either. But in the recruiting process and stuff like that, like, did you know Villanova had a football team?
I did. I think I was talking to my mom about it. I think they sent me like some type of mail or some Twitter DM or something like that. It might have been them or Yale, but I knew they had a football team. I didn't know how good they were or anything like that. But yeah, they're obviously a good football team, and it's going to be a tough battle on Saturday.
Yeah. I sit here and go, I've heard Villanova all my life, but it's always been on the basketball court.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they had one of the greatest basketball coaches there for a while, and so talented. And then, yeah, it's interesting to say the least. Duff, did you ever have any contact with Villanova?
I did not, but I also didn't.
Didn't have a
I
lot
had
of
a
contact.
whirlwind of a recruiting process, but
Yeah.
I did know Villanova. I think they won the national championship in FCS. I feel like in like 2010,
Yeah,
2009.
Mm.
So
I thought they had even more recently than that, but I could be wrong.
maybe, yeah, they have a good winning history there. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, with some Pensacola schools calling, or not Pensacola, Pennsylvania schools calling your cousin, man, maybe Villanova wakes up to Jackson Davis as well.
Yeah,
Who knows?
that'd be nice. Yeah.
Maddox, what's I mean, we know what the goal is. Next one, right? But I mean, what are you going to do this weekend? Like, I mean, we getting a couple sacks, couple picks. Like, what are we doing this weekend?
Man, we're going to go out and try to play the best football we can do. Maddox is going to go out there and, try to execute a game plan, obviously, and be in the position I'm supposed to be in, and whatever comes with it, comes with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't, like, yesterday, or not yesterday, but last game, I didn't set out to have an interception on, like, getting to the last drive. So, obviously, I'm talking myself, like, okay, we're going to have this, we're going to do this. Like, but sometimes it just doesn't come. But Saturday, just going to play my heart out and for my guys, for the seniors, for us, for a team. And we're just going to see how the outcome is.
One more before the next one, right? And man, I'm so excited for you guys, and I'm telling you, I'm hoping to get a chance to talk with Coach Johnson when the season's done, because this defense, what you guys have done this year, and I know it's not just Coach Johnson, I know that's the whole staff and all you guys playing as well. So impressive, and what you've been able to do this year, especially Maddox stepping in, filling that role incredibly well, and I know that gives Coach Wells so much confidence going into the offseason too, as he gets into the portal and different things. It's one thing he doesn't have to worry about. Maybe some depth, maybe, but outside of that, he knows that position's taken care of, and that's pretty awesome, man. Good luck this weekend, and keep winning, keep playing, and I will not be there in person, but I will be watching and cheering you on. And if you get another pick or another sack or another big hit, I'll be on my couch screaming and yelling for you, man. So,
man, I appreciate you. Appreciate everything you do, Duff. Appreciate you, man. Let's get this win on Saturday.
You, brother. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Appreciate you guys for having me.
All right, Maddox. We'll see you, man.
See you. Take care.
Yeah. Maddox Marcellus, linebacker extraordinaire, EKU football. Man, I'm telling you, Duff, the more that I've been around you guys, the more that I've talked with the guys, like, this team is special. And what you guys, not just what you've done on the field, and I think you only get that with having the veteran presence that you guys have. And, they're going to lose a lot next year. They're going to have a ton of talent still. They're going to lose a lot of veteran presence next year. And I hope that these young guys are learning from you guys and really pulling that in, so that next year, I think that you're going to have guys like Maddox, who will be a junior, his third year in college, but still, I think that what they've been able to see, hopefully they'll model it and grow it, moving forward too, because I mean, we've talked with so many guys going back to the summer. We talked to Kylan this summer. I was blown away by the interview with Kylan. Like, I reached out to somebody else that has a show, national show, and I was like, you got to get this guy on your program, man. Like, I'm just blown away by him. And then sadly he gets hurt. But you, Rhino, D Bake, I mean, all these guys, Peyton, just there's so many of them. And I think that's really what's made your guys special. And then these young guys have been mature and stepped in, and as well, I think it makes this team really, really unique, I think, and any team that I've watched closely, for sure.
Yeah. I love this team. This team's chemistry and culture. I mean, we care about each other, and we go out and we've had our backs against the wall for a while, like we talk about, and we just keep fighting. And that's who we are. That's how we are. That's how we play. And big shout out to the two guys tonight. I said it about Latham, and I could say the same thing about Maddox. One of the best guys. Lucky to have him as a teammate. Man, just can't say enough about him. Infectious personality, and he's doing huge things on the field, but also in the locker room and in the community. I mean, those guys are A+ dudes.
Well, I'll tell you, after one of his big games, he was in the post-game press conference. Him and Josh Carter were in there, and we got done with the recording aspect of the press conference, and we were just kind of chatting. And he's like, "Hey, man, love the show. I got to come on sometime." And I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And he came on the next week. And, his personality, and Brayden, I'm learning more about Brayden's personality too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fun. It's so fun. And you guys have such a fun team this year as well. And I'm so excited for you guys. Again, this is your second round of playoff experience. Hopefully this one goes better. And the defense is the way they're playing, it will go better than the last one. But I don't know, man, what's the thing you're looking forward to the most on this Saturday?
Just being in the moment, playing the game I love, and just being with my team, another opportunity. Shout out Frankie West there.
West.
You talk about awesome people and guys who lead by example. That's one right there.
Yeah.
But excited. The whole community's supportive, and the team. Just a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement to go out there and play with a chip on our shoulder and get a win again.
Yeah. I feel like this is a win this Saturday, man. I really do. I know they're gonna be a tough team, and it's a road trip, and I know those are always tough too. But man, I'm so excited for you guys. I'm looking forward to the game. Getting home. I'm getting home Friday afternoon from our trip on Thanksgiving, and then I'll be dialed in on Saturday. I'll make sure nothing else is happening. My kids won't be here, so it'll just be me and the wife. We're gonna maybe cook some steak or something and watch the game and cheer you guys on as well. But man, it's gonna be a good time. I'm excited. I'll continue to tell people, like, we've got some stuff planned for once the season's completed, and it's going to be really fun. We're going to do a couple shows that are going to be just so much fun, and I'm looking forward to those, but I'm in no hurry. We can wait. We can wait until the season's done. Hopefully we're doing shows into January, just because we're waiting on football season to be done. So, man, Duff, good luck to you this weekend, man. Shout out again to Maddox and Brayden. Both of them fun interviews, and thanks to Isaac for helping us out getting those set up, of course, as well. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Congrats. I think we said this maybe last week or the week before, but congrats to Frankie West, by the way, signing with the Indoor Football League as well. So that's pretty cool as well. But hey, man, that's going to be it for tonight. You got anything else you need to add before we close up?
Nope, all good. Just like I said, tough opponent this week. Excited to continue to fight and try to keep this streak alive and play with the brothers.
Definitely. Follow us on social media at Sports Stove. I'll be making comments throughout the game on Saturday. It's going to be about a play behind because that's the way TV works. But nonetheless, I'll be doing some comments on there, kind of keeping up with the game. And then check out our sponsors, Righteous Felon Jerky. Use promo code STOVE15. Again, they're already reasonably priced, but you get a discount on it. Great stocking stuffer items as well. So make sure you check that out. Sure appreciate you tuning in to tonight's edition of the Sports Stove Local Hour. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Hope you get to enjoy it with family and or friends, and then enjoy some football on Saturday. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.